Loading snacks.
What's going on, Loading Snacks Universe? Your boy Jokes is here. I got the homie Marcus in tow, and it is time for another edition of the Finisher Podcast.
Finisher.
Marcus, how you feeling tonight, man?
I'm feeling good, man. T minus 2 days till money in the bank.
I feel you. I feel you. By the time you guys hear this, it probably will be Money in the Bank Saturday. So, happy
Shoot, by
Money
the
in
time
the
they
Bank
hear it,
and
it may
Worlds
be
Collide.
SummerSlam.
We're not gonna wish that. We're saying they're gonna listen to it for Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. But as usual, appreciate you guys tuning into the Finisher Podcast, whether you're listening to us or whether you're watching on YouTube. Either way is greatly appreciated. Um, we always ask, of course, visit the Beacons link, beacons.ai/loading snacks, where you will be able to keep up with all of the different loading snack shenanigans. Obviously, the Finisher podcast. You'll be able to go to the Anime Chat podcast, um, Loading Snacks Weekly, and everything else we have under the sun. We're just fresh out of Big Lit Comic Con, so we have a lot of content that is in the works and is coming from there. So the Beacons link is going to be the best way to be able to tune in to those things as they come about. But today we are here to talk about some wrestling on episode
Wrestling.
20 of the Finisher podcast. Um Now this episode I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag of emotions on this one because I feel like we're going to talk about some cool and fun things, obviously with Money in the Bank looming in the distance, and we have to talk about, of course, recent releases. It always sucks when we have to talk about this, but this particular, I'm not even going to say it's a wave as of just yet because it's only two people as of right now, but I feel like both of these individuals, of course, have had decent strides within the WWE. One, as of recently, not as much, but the other one just coming out of a main event match, which is a little upsetting to do. Um, Obviously, if you guys are tuning into wrestling, you probably already know what we're talking about here. Um, but we are talking about, of course, R-Truth and Carlito. Um, by all means, both of their releases are, they weren't nothing that was like announced or anything like that originally beforehand on there, so they were a surprise. Now, I will say, for and not to take away from anybody's accolades or anything like that, Carlito being, or I should say their contracts, both of them, not being renewed on Carlito's side, I'm not as surprised. Um, Marcus, you and me had a conversation about Carlito, and when he first came back and got put with the Judgment Day, we always felt as though it was a weird place for him to be. Like initially, we were like, okay, Carlito in the Judgment Day. Clearly, maybe we're going to see a different side of Carlito because of being in the Judgment Day. But honestly, we got the same Carlito in the Judgment Day as we normally would get. Um, and everything for him was pretty much behind scenes. He had a few matches, but nothing crazy since being back on the roster. Um, so it seems like a little bit of a miss. I'm not sure, obviously, making sure we can put him in different storylines and everything. He was always there to, of course, back up somebody in the Judgment Day. Finn, JD, Dom, whoever it may be in certain situations. He was there, but he still wasn't utilized as much for it. So his contract not being renewed, I'm not as upset about, just because of things like how do we feel about the Carlito side of things?
I mean, I said it before. WWE just has a way of like not utilizing certain talent
Mhm.
effectively, and Carlito is one of these people. And like we discussed this when the rumor mill was happening, and it was like, oh, Carlito's gonna come. He's gonna come to Puerto Rico, and he's gonna go to the PLE, and he's gonna actually be in the match. And I was like, okay, if he comes back, have something well written for
Mm-hmm.
him, like at least in the mid card section, like the guy stays pretty current. He stays in shape. Like he doesn't have ring rust,
Mm-hmm.
however, like some other people. Let this man work.
Mm-hmm.
Still good on the mic. Like, why are you regulating him to be like this Aaron character?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't need to be this Aaron character. The group doesn't need him as that. Like it, like me personally, it didn't make sense that he went into Judgment Day,
Mm-hmm.
but it is what it is. And because of that and being in that group, uh with the likes of like Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, now Liv Morgan, and Raquel, like he's lost in the shuffle. So like
I
I'm
can agree with
upset
that.
that he's gone, but I hope it well, he will be gone because his contract hasn't been renewed, but hopefully he lands on his feet yet again and continues to wrestle, and you know wherever he goes I'll keep a lookout.
I
So
do. Now you say, hey, listen. I'll be honest with you. Like you saying, land on his feet. I feel like right now his feet are firmly planted because now right before this happened,
I mean he could just go to AAA.
he could he could. But right before this happened, something that was a little, it was a little weird. Now, obviously, with how things have been transpiring with WWE working with outside promotion, TNA obviously acquiring AAA, working with other acquiring Evolve and being involved with other promotions. Uh, right before this happened, it was announced that Carlito won the WWC Puerto Rico World Championship. So he had went to a whole nother promotion during this time and won their main championship. So I don't know if this was, it was already kind of in the works that, the contract wasn't going to be renewed or whatever, but WWE has been a little more flexible when it comes time to competing in these other promotions. So seeing him win a championship, I was ecstatic. Yes, it wasn't in WWE, but I was like, hey, maybe they would allow Carlito to now bring this championship onto the show and incorporate this into the storyline. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that could have been an interesting thing, especially with Finn Balor in the mix. That Carlito shows up, he's got gold over his shoulder,
He's
and
like, where'd you buy that from? I didn't buy it, I won it in Puerto Rico.
Finn's still on the hunt for something other than a tag team championship. I think that could have caused a little bit more of that tension within the Judgment Day. Now, obviously, wasn't the play, but he's already in motion of doing great. So he's now the face essentially of the company now with having the championship. So there's no two doubts that Carlito is going to go on, and if he continues to wrestle, is going to have a pretty decent amount of success wherever he goes. Um, I think with his name, like in the past, we would be like, yeah, go to TNA and do something, but now it's a little like, but of course TNA could pick him up and of course just be under the TNA banner for now. Um, Obviously AEW is out there. As much as we talk about things that are happening, like they are giving tons and tons and tons of people opportunity to come in there and show off what they have. Carlito's name, I think, would be a staple to be able to just go there and do something. There's just a lot going on within AEW, so getting lost is like we at one point we were like, I didn't think we were gonna have to worry about getting lost in the middle of stuff on AEW, but now that's starting to be a thing. Whole nother conversation we can get into. Um, but I do believe Carlito though is gonna be fine. He'll be able to compete still, and who knows? He joked in his post about, of course, being released that maybe he'll come back. I think it's like 13 years. Hey, see you down the road later. So who knows? He could always show back up, have another little impact within the company. But future is the only thing that we can see from here.
Indeed.
Um, but on the flip side, R-Truth. Now, R-Truth being or his contract not being renewed honestly shocked all hell out of me. Uh, just coming off the match with John Cena at Saturday night's main event, this was just complete left field. And like to me, R-Truth is one of those like loyal company guys that I feel like it does more than, of course, for the fan side of things. He's entertaining. You can watch him on a weekly basis. He can perform. He's one of those few people that have the complete package. Being able to be on the mic, being able to compete in the ring. Some people just don't have both characteristics of it. He has it and then some. I am just super, super confused about this one. Um, from listening to other superstars that are going out there, he was someone that was you could say a locker room leader. He was someone that everyone looked up to, had the positive outlook. I don't think any of that stuff, of course, played a factor in, other than just as a business decision, unfortunately, if things just didn't work for his contract. Now, let's just a few of R-Truth's accolades. Now,
He's one
obviously,
of the most decorated people in the WWE.
he's one of the most decorated people in the WWE. Now, I'm going to say this. Now, I know for a lot of people, this is probably just going to be like, it's not a big thing. But he was 54-time 24/7 champion. Now, I know it's 24/7 championship. I know a lot of people like it's ludicrous. It ain't a bit. But the fact, let's be real,
I mean, if you equate it to like the hardcore championship, that's essentially what it is.
is what it is. But I want to put out there like the fact that I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think anybody else with with the exception of potentially someone like The Miz. I don't think there is anybody else that you could have had this championship created, put on, and made it so relevant. Like every single instance that he had with that championship, it was fun, it was entertaining, it was just it was a breath of fresh air at certain, especially from when it was introduced. Times were different. We were just starting to get into this new era. We hadn't quite gotten out of the Vince McMahon regime type thing, but we were starting to make a little bit of different strides in a different direction. But anytime that he interacted with someone regarding that championship, being able to have him show up in the middle of somebody else's match to either defend this championship or, of course, run in, cause chaos, keep it moving. I don't think there was anybody else in the company that would have been able to handle that as well as R-Truth did. Um, he was able to work in the confines of tons of storylines, whether it was independently or just being in the middle to create some fun or some fun chaos, like the whole Judgment Day thing. Judgment Day, having him not being in the Judgment Day, being in the Judgment Day, I thought was an absolute fun experience to be able to be a part of. Um, I just it's crazy. Now, outside of that, um, held the United States Championship one time, actual WWE Hardcore Champion twice, tag team champion with Kofi Kingston, the WWE Tag Team Championship, and then he was also World Tag Team Champion with Road Dogg back when he was K-Quit, when he first came into the WWE. So not as many title reigns as some others have had, but I feel like for his time as champion, entertaining nonetheless. I am still confused about the decision to let R-Truth go.
Well, I think it's because one of the main reasons, I don't know if you've saw this article,
Mm-hmm.
but TKO as a company,
Mm-hmm.
they are down. They owe $6 billion.
To who?
So, uh, it's maybe not 6 billion. Yeah, I think it actually is 6 billion. It's either 5 or 6 billion, and 4 billion of that is coming from a UFC from when after they uh took over UFC and everything. There is a migration in place for pay that the UFC owed that now they have to pay
Mm-hmm.
by 2026 for
I'm actually
$4 billion.
I'm taking a look on a
It's
couple
like
of
4 points. It's like 4 point something billion.
right now. Like I'm seeing, don't get me wrong, these numbers are still insane regardless. Like I'm looking at like with Forbes, I see a $2.7 billion deficit that they're a part of. Um 3.07 billion in debt compared to their 470 million in cash on hand. Now, I'm not sure when this article was. 2%. Yeah, there's what you saw. Company also has 2.7 billion of USC debt due in 2026. There's that portion of it right there. Um, Now, granted, I know when you're shaking the tree, like in the grand scheme, our true salary is a drop in the hat to that. But if you nip away a lot of that, it does give you a little bit more
I mean,
capital.
everything like certain,
Hmm.
not everything adds up, but you start to see why certain changes are being made because
Hmm.
even the Mrs. contract, he said that isn't. They haven't said anything about
Hmm.
it being renewed, so
Renewed.
he's about to be another one. And if the Miz leaves, like okay, of course he has Miz and Mrs., so he'll still be fine. He could do stuff backstage, whatever,
Hmm.
off camera. But like R-Truth, I remember when he came back to WWE from
Hmm.
TNA, and I was just like, I kind of want you to go back to TNA because you were like doing
Hmm.
big things in TNA. But I'll give you your shot here to see how they treat you, and they kind of deliver on exactly what I thought they were going to do and
Hmm.
where they was going to keep them at. So, um, I will say he's definitely a solid, strong worker.
Hmm.
Whatever they give him, he knocks it out the park. He just owns it. Um, I don't know. I think at one point in time there was actual merch saying, "Where's Little Jimmy?"
I'm more than certain there was merch that had
Like
little
he
Jimmy
is
on.
the only person I know that can make an imaginary child a reality.
Like
Like
we saw little Jimmy. We haven't seen little Jimmy on screen in a very long time, but in that last interaction that he had with the bloodline, little Jimmy made another appearance on there. Um, but yeah, I get, I understand, what some business decisions are difficult to make. I feel like our truth being released was probably one of those that was probably a bad decision. Um, not just from the on-screen persona of our truth, but just as someone being in the locker room that is a light for a lot of people, both newer superstars and of course a lot of the vets. I think that's where you have to kind of look at and see if it's worth it. Now, I think for them, obviously, if you're bleeding money, even though I know on the WWE side, they're doing pretty well, especially with the increases in prices on tickets, especially for like Mania and all the bigger shows that they have coming. Clearly, Mania is no longer going to be um in New Orleans this coming year, and there's shit. The rumor is it's going back to Vegas, which clearly there's another piece of a money grab in there. But there's also the talk that Mania could be going international, and that could be a Saudi show, which oh, but I get it. If they're giving them that type of money, whatever. Um, but I think there's a lot. I think there's other sides to that R Truth being released that like maybe we just will never see. Like supposedly from an article, I think it was from Chris Van Vliet, I think is who I put it up on there. Apparently there was a counter offer, or there was another package that was offered to R Truth, but apparently he did not accept it. Obviously, I'm sure it was probably substantial less amount of money in comparison to what he was already currently getting. Um, but of course, that's probably something that maybe down the line R Truth will talk about that we'll be able to learn from it. Um, but personally, this is don't get me wrong. A lot of these releases
I
like
mean,
they upset
I
us,
I
but
equate this release of our truth
mm,
kind of like he's like a modern era Farouk,
mhm,
where like he has his segments and his spots, and
mhm,
he owns those spots, but he will still wrestle in the ring if he needs to.
if this be
And like this man just had like his 50th birthday like not too long ago. Like I think in the last like 2 years, like he just turned 50.
hey, listen, and I get it. I get that they want to get younger talent in. But once you hit that number, a lot of people do, start slowing in. Listen, it's just, hey, listen, the body is just, it's catching up. But our truth, I feel like, is one of those that I don't think has quite hit that just yet. Cena's talked about it. He can't do a lot of what he used to do just surely off of just the time, the toll that's taken on his body. Not,
That
no,
and he's no longer actually a full timer anymore.
right.
Anymore,
He
like
ain't
he's like,
lifting. He ain't
I
doing none of
done
that.
shrunk. I haven't been like powerlifting like I
Mhm.
used to. Like I got to be in movie shape, not
Right.
wrestling shape. So that's a totally different dynamic, as he found out when he used to get on Dwayne's case about that transition to stardom, to the movie, to the Hollywood life.
Hmm.
It's different from your wrestling life.
Yeah. 100%. But
If
I'm
y'all don't
just
know who Dwayne is, that's The Rock. In case you've been living under a rock for like the last
there's no reason why you should know who Dwayne is.
like 20
Um,
years, 15 years, but
but nonetheless, you know, our truth being released, that one hurt a little bit. I thought he was going to be a lifer. I really thought it, but I'm hoping that obviously he's released from the wrestling side of the contract, that maybe there's some other plans, there's some other work where, like you said, like how Miz has Miz and Mrs. Maybe there's going to be our truth training at the performance center, our truth doing. Hey, listen, I feel like he has a lot that he can contribute in
hey,
other
all I'm
aspects.
gonna say is I still stand by my statement that our troops contract may not have been renewed, but
Mhm.
Ron Killing's got a contract.
That would, hey, listen, that would be an interesting thing to see if they played it some type of way like that. But I hope we get to see him somewhere sometime soon. Knowing WWE and how hot our truth is, he's probably gonna have a cool down period. We probably won't see him for the next few months somewhere. Um, I trust we know Tony Khan has probably got his phone number on speed dial ready to go to try to bring him in AEW. But I'm gonna be honest, I would like
Now
to see.
Paul gonna tell him, hey, look, don't talk to nobody. Let me handle this. Okay? Just let me handle it.
We'll see. Supposedly Trips is the one that kind of had a hand in this thing, but obviously there's no way for us to 100% know. But if our truth does move on to say, I would like to see him, you know, as a slight something different, maybe show back up on like NWA. I think he could be a presence to help push that along a little bit better than
Hey,
what it
R-Truth,
is.
just come to Maryland, my guy. Come to Maryland.
Hey, he may show up at MCW. That'll be pretty cool. But hey, listen, he could go to New Japan, and if he went to New Japan and came back and came out as or Ron Killings over there, I think that could be an interesting. Hey, listen, Marcus, walk with walk with me. He shows up and becomes a member of the Bullet Club. I think that could be a little bit of an
That
interesting
would
thing.
be like so meta if Ron Killings became part of the Bullet Club, and if he became a leader of the Bullet Club, let him come back to WWE. He'd be like, "Hey, Finn, I just saw your buddies across the pond. They wanted me to tell you hello. You know."
Perfect. Hey, that would be perfect. That would be perfect. But I think anybody adding R-Truth onto their roster is it's an absolute win in any category that you do.
Oh,
So
also R.I.P. What's it? Valkyrie, Valkyria? No, yes, Valkyrie,
no,
isn't it?
no, you're talking
Valhalla,
about Valhalla.
Valhalla. R.I.P.
Okay.
Valhalla. Not actually R.I.P. but contract wise R.I.P.
Wasn't renewed as well too. I mean, honestly, she was just in two bad positions. Like, hadn't been doing anything, and since the Viking Raiders are no longer the Viking Raiders anymore, the character didn't fit the bill. They could have easily listen. Sarah Logan was cool. Like her character was cool. Like by all means, it wasn't nothing extravagant or anything. I feel like they probably been able to work it a little bit better. But I'm be honest, Mark. Like we had this discussion. I feel like now with everybody that is migrating from the NXT side over to the main roster as far as the women, th- that was she was getting lost in that shuffle. Like because right now, and we're gonna talk about Money in the Bank, um, because right now that's probably going to be like the number one match that I'm looking forward to the most is the women's Money in the Bank match. Um, I think we can go ahead and shift. Sending props out to Carlito and R-Truth. Um, just know with us, you guys have fans for life. Like we've enjoyed your stuff since we've watched in the good old days up till now. We will be tuning in wherever you guys will end up showing up. Um, I just hope it's sooner rather than later, but we're definitely going to tune in. But yeah, let's just do let's shift over to Money in the Bank. I just want to talk about a little bit of the matches and what we think, but nothing. We're not gonna do. We won't really do like predictions or anything like that. Um, but like I said, Marcus, I think Money in the Bank right now probably has a pretty solid card. I'm gonna pull up. I just want the one. Like, how do you feel? Like, how do you feel right now about the card and what we're looking like for Money in the Bank?
I feel as though it's solid. Like if you've been following Raw and SmackDown on the qualifiers and everything that's supposed to be that's taking place,
Hmm.
it's a very solid lineup, especially in the women's division. And we, as if you don't know, on this show, we support the women's division unequivocally all the way to the moon and beyond. So just continue to do what they're doing in the women's division outside of the women's tag team division. That's a topic for another date because
Hmm.
we can talk about that endlessly. So yeah, overall, it's I'm fine with Money in the Bank.
So I'm gonna pull this up right now. I got the because right now this match is by far is probably going to be the match of the night. Um, that is the women's Money in the Bank match. Now let's let's start with Stephanie because Stephanie dropped the NXT Women's Championship, and we were kind of like, wow, this is pretty quick. And then not a day or two after that, we found out that she was moving to Raw, and it was like, oh shit, like she's clearly there's no two ways she's not gonna be in Money in the Bank. And look at where we're at right now.
I
I
mean, the call was inevitable,
mhm.
and but you got to think. God dang it, I was about to call her Mariah May.
Who are you?
so many blondes in the WWE. But Tiffany Stratton.
Right. Okay, that's
She
why I was thinking you were
yeah,
going, but
yeah, all, all all of them need to change their hairstyle. Number one, in a different color because they're all starting to blend, and that's not a good sign. And because they all have the same fashion sense, so different topic. Uh, but Tiffany was just called up like last
hmm
year, and she was in the Money in the Bank. So
hmm
under trips, it seems like this is a thing. You get called up depending on your call up class and
hmm
and gender. If you've been performing throughout the months, probably get a Money in the Bank opportunity. And if the crowd is behind you, then you may just go ahead and
And
get
listen, the
said
crowd,
match.
every person in this match, the crowd is behind. Whether it is as a cheer or a boo, like they are fully behind it. Um, I like this is how there was a point in time coming from NXT up to the main roster. We were afraid. It's like what, a lot is going on. People gonna get lost in the shuffle. But I think what we've been seeing over these past few weeks, honestly, few months, I think that transition has been really, really good. And I mean, I'm gonna say credit to both Shawn Michaels and Triple H on both ends and having these really good handoffs and bringing stars up and making sure they're staying relevant and putting them in scenarios that don't just get them in and get them buried. Um, Obviously, Money in the Bank, somebody has to win it, and five others have to lose it. But I feel like in this particular instance, this is not going to take away from the momentum of anybody that's in this match currently
Oh,
right now.
absolutely not. If
And
anything,
that's
it's gonna drive more stories to uh greater heights.
right.
Like as much as our other compatriot and compadre loves mommy, she can't be like a juggernaut all the time.
hmm
Like you have to make characters become more complex and add more dimensions to them. So
hmm
I feel not that her stuff is stale by any
hmm
means. Now it's time we need to see the next evolution
hmm
of Rhea Ripley.
I think I can agree with that. Like I think where her character is right now, I think it's perfectly fine. Um, it's just taking like right. I'm gonna be honest. Like let's just say the hypothetical. Let's just say Stephanie wins this match. I'm kind of thinking that that's probably where we're leaning towards. But if she wins, there's already a thing that we can do with Rhea, Roxanne that's already there that we can build and come off of. Uh, I love where Naomi is going currently right now. Like she's in the middle. I'm gonna be honest with you. She's not gonna win this match probably because of the fact that Jade, even though their thing should be like kind of like over, I don't think Jade is gonna allow her to get the victory. I don't see Bianca. Like I think she still is gonna have to take a little bit more time. It's good to see her on SmackDown, but I know with the finger situation still going on, she's probably not gonna be able to get in the middle of anything. Um, but I do see Jade potentially still preventing Naomi from getting anywhere close to winning the briefcase. Um,
I just need
Alexa,
Naomi not to come out with a razor blades in her hair because that is an actual hazard, and she did like cut her hand just on her TikToks. Just like, oh snap, these are I forgot these are actual real razor
listen,
blades in my hair.
I love that whole thing. Please, yeah, don't do that in the match. Listen, all your promos backstage, put the razor blades in and be good. But yeah, let's not. I mean, at least it'll give an easy blading job for folk. But let's not. Um, but yeah, Julia, even if she loses, they can have her run with just about any woman on
The
the
like
roster.
again, I've said this before. Every time a star comes from another promotion,
Mm,
especially a Asian promotion, they get lost in the shuffle a lot in the WWE. I do not want, now that she has been called up to
Mhm.
SmackDown, I do not want Julia to be lost in the shuffle. Like, you spent money on this talent, you put her in NXT, she did amazing in NXT. You called her up super fast because she's super popular.
Mhm.
Have something made for her in the universe of the story within
Mhm.
this world. Like, don't just, oh well, because language barrier. Okay, guess what? Shinsuke Nakamura approved. Just add freaking subtitles to all the promos, and the shit will be fire. And do like actual like cinematography,
Mhm.
like, and they'll do good. Oscar's proved it. Kari Sane has proved it. Io Sky has proved it. There is no longer, yo, even now, Stephanie Valcour, subtitles.
She don't
Like,
even need them. She's fine.
exactly.
She's fine. She don't need no subtitles. Julia's pretty good, is good too. I don't think she really needs it either. Like, um, the two of them are going to be 100% solid. Like, but like you said, it's just depending on
As a
how
heel,
we.
but since she's a heel,
Mhm.
it will come across better. Just speak in like your native tongue to get your point across. So that way it's fluid. You know it. I understand like English, okay, English primary language over here, yada yada yada, but drive your point across, you're going to go in and out of your primary language.
Mhm.
So have those subtitles pre-made already, and if it goes off the cuff on the fly, then you do that audible and you just let her cook.
Mhm. Yeah, I think things will be solid. But that's honestly is
Also, I'm
probably.
just glad Charlotte's not in the match.
I'm not mad at that either. Honestly, um, I think this is going to probably be the standout. Don't get me wrong. The men's Money in the Bank match is going to be pretty damn interesting in itself as well too. But I think right now the women's Money in the Bank match is going to be the match of the night. Um, the, I don't know how you feel. Like, I'm hoping, but right now when you look at the men's Money in the Bank match, to me it clearly looks like the winner here is going to end up being Seth. Like, it's just, but I'm hoping that it's going to go a different direction. Um, I know this is going to sound crazy probably for a lot of people. I want to see Grande Americano win this show.
Oh, you're trolling.
Listen, I think there's what they're doing with, like, and we're going to try to stay within the confines of story, but Chad Gable and El Grande Americano, I feel like have been it's been a very interesting play for WWE. Now, clearly the idea is that El Grande is not Chad Gable. Um, but outside of that, we know it is. But these two, he's gonna perform on both shows. That's the biggest thing. So Worlds Collide before Money in the Bank, they are both going to compete on those respective shows. Um, I don't see Grande winning the AAA Mega Championship, but who knows? But I could see, or I should say, Chad Gable. Excuse me. But
Hey, what if Solo Sokoa wins?
if Solo won, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not. I'm honestly not upset with right now. Americano Solo. I'm not mad at it all. There's a part of me that's almost wouldn't even be mad probably if
If Penta,
Andrade. I wouldn't be mad at Penta, but I think that we're built. Listen, continue to build. I think what they're doing with Ray and Penta on the solo side has been amazing. I don't think they're going to thrust Penta just yet into main event World Heavyweight Championship, WWE Championship as of just yet. there's a possibility, but I think we're gonna work close to that. I feel like they're gonna play the Seth is gonna win this. I'm putting Grande Americano is my pick, but I feel like it's gonna end up being Seth. I don't think he needs it. I think what they're doing right now with him building this new faction is solid. Um, but the thing is, if he has the briefcase, this now gives him the flexibility to be able to be on both shows. And I kind of think that that's where they may try to go to play with that for a little bit. He'll bring Paul Heyman. He'll probably bring um Breaker and oh, why am I having a moment right now? And
Bronson Reed, yeah.
Bronson, but it's just an easy way to have him go between both shows, which can make sense. Especially have him go over and interact again with Cody, even though they probably won't really they won't have a match or anything. They could have them interact once again. Um, but I think they got it. They've been doing a pretty good job with different like the underdog person that we wouldn't see win the Money in the Bank to actually see them win the Money in the Bank. Um, so I have my eye on that match, but definitely the two Money in the Bank matches definitely clearly are going to be the standout matches for here. Um, as of now, there's only 4 matches, and then of course Lyra versus Becky for the Intercontinental Championship, and then I hate to say this, but I feel like the Cena Logan Paul versus Cody Jey Uso is going to end up being the main event. It shouldn't be the main event. Either one of the Money in the Bank matches should be the main event.
I actually think that tag match is opening the show.
I wouldn't be mad at that, but I with the balance of things, the Money in the Banks
They're probably going to start off with the
are gonna start and anchor the show. Like
women's
that's just
ladder match, unless it's the Becky Lyra, which it would make sense, and then go.
no. They'll do. My hope is men's Money in the Bank opens the show. The women's Money in the Bank closes the show. I think that is for these superstars and the way that we have them in these matches. The women should be closing this show out. Um, pretty sure Becky will probably win, but I'm I'm okay with these matches. But otherwise, the women's Money in the Bank is where things are going to be
It'll be
amazing.
interesting if Seth wins because, like, I don't see him cashing in on John Cena, so it would have to be Jay.
I think and listen, I would like to see Seth like that could be the play towards the end of Cena's reign. If Seth is going to hold on to it until like December, and then depending on if there's like an additional PLE or special event that shows up, maybe it'll happen there. Um, I'm not sure, but it's just when you look at the realm of who's in the men's Money in the Bank, like Seth is just to me is just it just looks like he's just put there to win this match, but I could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong. Because there's definitely some options that they have to go with. But
Man, that the one like the more I keep like looking at like the Money in the Bank matches
mhm,
and the actual matches, uh the women's match is stacked with talent. You have
exactly.
t- 3 former women's champions
Hmm.
in that match.
I mean, honestly, you can honestly say all 6 if you include the NXT. You technically have 6 world champions technically at that point for it. Yeah, if you don't include kids, yeah, I get it. But they've all held a women's championship, so uh yeah, it's gonna
I
be it's gonna
kind
be
of want
amazing.
Alexa to win. I kind of want Alexa to win.
Hey, listen, I feel you on that, and
Just to drive more Wyatt Six like storyline so she can be at the focal point of it.
they don't even have
Like,
to do that. Like they don't. She doesn't necessarily need the championship or the Money in the Bank to be at the focal point of that storyline. But we gotta revamp that story. Like I'm happy. I know me and you have talked about this off camera, but having the Y6 back for us, cool. But it's like, what are we doing with them? Cause like I know we had, last Friday they went back to doing, the cryptic Uncle Howdy message type thing. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this again. But if we're gonna do this,
Follow through.
let's follow through. Like if someone got injured or whatever, derailed the plan, things happen. It does. But we got to keep this train moving because if this happens again, where the Wyatt Six has to disappear off screen for whatever reason, it's going to become a train wreck. And
Hmm.
I don't want to see, by all means, what Bray created. I just don't want to see it go down in a ball of fire. Like let's
No, sir.
let's get the Wyatt Six. Let's get this train going again. Let's figure out where we need to get them in as a story, who we need to get them with, and let's work it. Let it work. We gotta let it cook. I personally was enjoying more of them having be able to bounce between both shows and create chaos, but I mean, I get it. They're gonna have to live in one place, and it's on SmackDown. Let's we just want to see this work because I know for a lot of people right now, I feel like the Wyatt Six is now like a sour taste in their mouth, and I don't want it to be that way. I,
And
I
it
I'm
shouldn't be that way.
I don't want it to be that way. And we can go like that can be a whole topic that we can go on to. But um I think that about does it. Like we could talk about Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide's card is solid with the combination of the NXT stars and the AAA stars. I feel like that card is solid. Um we're gonna see a lot of people like I know for me, saying probably with Mark, like we don't watch AAA, but we keep up with some of the things that actually happen within AAA. So I'm eager to see how they work well with the WWE stars, NXT stars as well. Like I want to see how things work because this is going to be the first out. This is going to be the first showing for a lot of people that are not familiar with the AAA brand and some of these luchadors that are going to be on the card. And I hope we get an excellent presentation out of this because this is going to set the tone and the bar for where we go forward with the acquisition of AAA under the WWE banner. Um,
All I know is since they bought AAA, that joint better be coming to Netflix. That's all I know.
and listen, it wouldn't at some point they're gonna roll. They got to roll all the shows into Netflix. Just make it easy on it. If you're outside of the country, you already pretty much get that.
Actually, it may already be a thing. Let me check.
It
I,
could.
I got some ninja stuff to do. Off camera. I got some ninja stuff to do.
No worries, but nah, I think we are good right now, and we can wrap the show up. Um, Let us know your thoughts on Carlito R-Truth being released, and let us know what you think about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view premium live event. It's still force of habit. Let us know in the comments below. Add us directly. Let us know your thoughts. I think we're going to be in for a very, very good Saturday as far as wrestling. Um, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you, Marcus. I got to figure out. I'm go out like first thing in the morning Saturday, get some breakfast, come back, just chill because the afternoon into the evening is just it's locked down. It's locked down from like what is that like 1 o'clock all the way around. So
Yep.
make sure you guys, if you're going to be watching, jump into the Loading Snacks wrestling chat with us. We will be in there chatting it up as usual for it. You can easily get to it just like we talked about in the top of the show, beacons.ai/loading snacks. That is going to be the place to get to everything Loading Snacks oriented. And stay tuned because the Beacons link is going to go away and something new is on the horizon. Um, we got to dot some I's and cross some T's. Keep your eyes out because that Beacons link is going to go away soon and something new is going to come up. But until then, this has been episode 20 of the Finisher Podcast. Um, we greatly appreciate you guys being here, listening, watching, however you're absorbing the content. We always greatly appreciate it. And please let us know your feedback. You like what you're seeing, you like what you're hearing. Let us know some things that you want to see to go down on the show.
We
But
love you.
well, yeah, we just do it that way. No, we can't really put nothing on the end of that. But until next time, Marcus, let them know what they need to hear.
Just remember, just because your back is against the ropes doesn't mean you can't move forward.
And with that, we'll catch you later.
Ta-ta for now.
Loading snacks.